So I've just finished watching JJK Season 3 Calling Games Part 1, so here are my thoughts about it. God, that title is so long. Look, I know I'm a little bit late making this review, and the reason why I'm so late about this is because, for the last couple of days, it's been really hectic, especially school, so I didn't really have the time to actually make a review about this season. But now, since that it's like, Saturday, I can finally make a review about this damn show. Now, fun fact, I actually hated this show. Yeah, before watching JJK, I was a certified JJK hater. And the reason is because, in my opinion, the reason why a lot of people watch JJK or even love JJK is because of Gojo. Like, the amount of edits of Gojo is just insane. Like, they be treating Gojo like he's like LeBron James or something like that. Like, the amount of glaze about this man is just crazy. But when the trailer for Season 3 came out, I was like, okay, this actually looks really good. So I was like, okay, why not I give it a try, right? Because I heard a lot of good things about it. So when I give it a shot, I was like, damn, this show is actually slaps. Now, since that I've already finished part 1 of the Calling Games, what are my thoughts about it? Now, I think in my opinion, this arc is, even though it's a part 1, I think in my opinion, it's up there with Shibuya arc, in my opinion. It's not better, but it's on the same level. But I think it is better compared to Season 1 in my opinion. But I want to get to my, critiques first before we get to, the stuff I actually do like. Because in this season, right, my only complaint about it is, when they explain stuff. Because how they explain, stuff in the show is generally confusing. Like, I'm not even joking. I feel like even Einstein will be confused. Because I feel like they're trying to explain something, but they're not using, like, the right words. That's just my opinion, though. Like, it's to the point where I asked ChatGPT to explain the entire Calling Games in Fortnite terms. Like, I'm not even joking. I mean, I kind of understand, the stuff that they explained in the show, but 98% of it is just very confusing. And another example is when they're trying to explain a certain character's powers. I forgot what her name is. Is it Kirara? Hakari's girlfriend? Here's what I understand about her powers. So basically, if there's like a mark on an item, she could attract to that. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of confused on how they explained it in the show. But that's just my complaint about this season. Now let's get to the good parts. And the thing that I actually do love about the season is the elephant in the room, which is the animation. I love how they straight up dunk on One Punch Man Season 3, because this season has way better animation compared to One Punch Man Season 3. And I know a lot of people have said that, but this is coming from a One Punch Man fan. You know your anime is cooked when your biggest fan is glazing another anime. Like, do you guys remember in the Shibuya arc where we get this fight between Mahoraga and Sukuna? Yeah, that fight was good, but the animation at some parts looks unfinished. Like, yeah, there are certain parts where they have really good animation, but in my opinion, it kind of looks unfinished at some parts. I mean, yes, I get it because, Mappa always treats their employees like shit. But in this season, it's basically the Mahoraga versus Sukuna fight, in at least the animation, but 10 times better. It looks way better. Like, if you guys watch the show, you know what I mean. Especially for the episode where Maki just absolutely destroyed, the Zenin clan. Like, the animation in the episode is straight up peak. Like, they push the limits of animation. And another thing that I actually do like about this season is the story. I like the idea of the Calling Games is basically just like a damn battle royale, but with, sorcerers. I thought that was a cool, neat concept. Like, yes, it's basic, but it's something that hasn't been never done before in anime, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I could be wrong about that. It's a really good idea, to make an arc about basically Jujutsu sorcerers just duking it out and just trying to get a lot of points. Like, I thought that was a cool concept. Another thing that I really like is the fight scenes. Holy damn. Like, the fight scenes are really, really good. They're, like, up there with the Sukuna versus Mahoraga fight. Like, the fight between, like, Yuji and Higuruma, I thought that was awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, that fight scene was not made by Mappa, if I'm not mistaken. It was made from a fan, actually. It was made by an artist who was also a really good animator. And also the latest, episode where Yuta is fighting these two, like, sorcerers, which I know one of their names, and one of them is Ryu, and I forgot what's the girl's name, but that fight was insane. Probably, if not the best episode in the entire season. And the new characters that they introduce here are also really good too. Like, probably my favorite character in the season is probably Hakari or Higuruma. It's either those two. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on JJK, Calling Games Part 1. Even though it's still, the first part of the season, I think in my opinion it's really really good. And this part, it feels more like a setup for the next part, because in this arc they don't do like actual like what the calling game is all about. It's more about them just recruiting more sorcerers and getting points and stuff like that. But I feel like in part 2 is where the actual like calling game actually starts, because in calling games part 2 you're gonna get a lot of good stuff, like actually straight up peak. So that's why I'm gonna give JJK season 3 part 1 of the calling games a 4.5 out of 5. I think part 1 is amazing, and I'm really really looking forward to part 2.